I assume. Thank you very much.
Playing for Francois Home.
Stop it, Alexa. Please behave. Right, so that seems to be broadcasting all right. Let's share it to the world. Okay, that's that. Let's record. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience again, as always. Welcome to the latest edition of the world's finest podcast of the boys from Bossk. My name's CJ. I'm joined by the sometimes invisible and sometimes he's not, Big Dave.
Wow, you're full of energy today, aren't you?
A man that tries too hard not to smile.
Hey, full of energy. Wow, that's got to be your lamest bloody start ever.
I haven't started yet.
Hello, and welcome to the show.
We
go to look for news.
Each week, these heroes troll the internet looking for stories and news, even when it's quiet, to bring you the best of entertainment. And we bring in the bounties each week. We never fail. On this week's show, we've got plenty of news from around the web, but we've got Dave's, what I like to call his sleeping review of the Candyman coming up, and my interesting review, or maybe not so interesting review of the latest streaming release, Moonfall, which I kept referring to for some reason as Moonlight, but actually is Moonfall. So we've got that and more for you in the latest, mightiest, greatest, and now, with my guns out, the sexiest edition of the boys from Bossk. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show that will not die. It is a quiet season here, although there's a lot of news going out. There's not as much entertainment news as there usually is. Everybody's making jokes about Netflix losing 200,000, I think, subscribers, and panicking about using 2 million when I think it's got like 200 million subscribers. So how much that actually affects it over the long term, outside of not being the safest like financial bet in terms of shareholders, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
You just do nine times 200,000 and work that out.
It's still not a lot.
It is when it comes to cash.
Not really. If you've got 200 million subscribers,
200,000,
and then
200,000 at $10 a pop, that's quite a lot.
Well, $14 a pop.
Well, $14 a pop, it's even more.
Well, yeah.
200,000 times $14.
It's $20 in the States. Oh, I know, but even then, it's not like they're going to go into receivership anytime soon. And I think people are over panicking. But that's just my point of view. Tell me if I'm wrong. Feel free to let us know in the comments or email us. I just find it interesting the way that there's so much panic over Netflix losing. You know, I get this in the market because they're always making more and more money, and that seems like that's stopped. That's come to an end. Just at that time when, you know, I guess housing looked like there's no end to the amount of money you can make. But you know, it's coming up to summer as well, and I think all the subscription services are probably going to lose quite a few viewers as people start spending more time outdoors. They go on holiday and not necessarily going to be watching Netflix and Disney as much as they were, because there's no you're not at home as much as you were. Lockdown made sure.
You say that it's different over here, but the other side of the world's hot and sunny is coming into winter now, so they're all going to be inside.
Yeah, but nobody watches TV Saturday queer.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay.
You mean no one watches TV apart from England and America and Canada, yeah? No one watches TV.
nobody watches Netflix. The only market Netflix is broken into in South Equator is Australia, Brazil,
Okay, so the
and
one of the
India.
biggest. Oh, and one of the other
And
biggest.
India's like their smallest market. It's the market they struggle to enter in the most. I think they've got I think they're third behind Disney and even
Yeah, but India's got their own market.
No, but Disney's doing absolutely fine out there. It's actually just Netflix is struggling out there. All the other ones are doing great. Australia's a tiny market. I mean, it's got a population of what, 20 million people, if that. And Brazil, I guess Brazil's their biggest, would be the biggest market outside of the United States.
No one in Africa, no.
No, they don't have an Africa. I think they've maybe got the set up in South Africa, but outside of that, I don't think they've got much hold out there. They did put 2 shows out that came from South Africa. One was a South African show about a cop who was like the Equalizer. I forgot his name. It was I'll remember it later. But it was like the Equalizer.
Queen Latifah's version of the Equalizer.
No.
So it was worse.
He was a lot more subtle than that. Like Queen Latifah's version was a lot more like Queen Latifah-ish. Well, the Equalizer is a terrible idea anyway, but it was like a lot more subtle.
No, but the movie with Denzel was good. The original program with Edward Wood was good.
It was in between Denzel and Shadow. That was it. It was about a black cop called Shadow in South Africa.
Oh, it's not racist, is it? A black cop called Shadow in South Africa. You couldn't get more racist than that, could you?
I don't know. It's in Netflix. And then there was Queen Sono, which they tried in South Africa, but that got cancelled after 1 season. So it'll be interesting to see if they can expand.
Like every show on Netflix.
Obviously, they've lost Russia. Now, people keep saying that, but their shows are still ridiculously popular. The documentaries are really, really popular. Cobra Kai is the #1 stream show in the world.
Documentaries are popular. Who watches documentaries? Old people.
I know you don't, Dave, but not everybody's Dave.
Why do I want to watch a documentary about someone's life?
I don't know, Dave. Maybe
my life's bad enough. I don't want to read somebody else's fucking life.
I don't believe you. I don't believe for a second that you've never watched any documentaries about lives.
Okay, I watched the Michael Jordan one.
There we go. So,
yeah.
I don't think Netflix is dead. I think Netflix needs to change. They literally closed down an department they only opened 3 months ago, and I didn't even know it was a department. They had an entire department called Tadum, which was based around the social media
screen.
Yeah, they opened up an entire department, entire group, hired hundreds of people, and now they fired them all. And I'm like,
good. They deserve it because there's nothing decent coming out. It's all rubbish. They've had to cancel all these shows because they've turned crap.
Well, no, they haven't. All they've cancelled is, in terms of shows, their animation department's gone. And any show that didn't have high ratings, which is fine. Like a lot of people complain about the shows they've cancelled, but nobody.
But a lot of these had season 2s, and their season 2s were big flops.
Yeah,
compared to their season 1s.
Nobody was watching them. If you don't, why?
Because they're boring. You turn them off after 2 or 3 episodes.
Well, there you go. So Netflix needs to.
So they let their own side down by making something good, and then the second season being totally crap.
Like what? Oh, you're gonna say
loads. Cobra Kai's terrible. Raising Dion, the first season of that was really good. The second season was terrible.
Really, I struggled.
That's been cancelled. There's quite a lot been cancelled in the last week.
I had no idea you even like that show, but I struggled with it quite bad.
Well, I have little people in my house most of the time, so.
Fair enough. Well, my question to you as an audience is: which streaming service would you cancel? Is Netflix top of your list? Or is it another one like?
I'm going to wait till I finish Ozark and then I'm done for a while.
You never got into Better Call Saul?
Do you know what? I didn't like Saul in Breaking Bad, so why would I watch a program about him?
Really? You didn't like his character? Or you just didn't
he was the most annoying character in the whole lot.
Okay. One of the most popular shows on Netflix. And then Top Boy.
Yeah, but Top Boys have been on Channel 4 for years. It's just a carry on.
This series was the new one, isn't it?
Yeah, but it wasn't that good. I can just go down to the local council estate and just read all about that.
Stop dissing my council estates.
I grew up on one. It don't bother me, mate.
Right.
Grew up on the same estate as you, so don't even go there.
I grew up in West Kensington. You grew up in
West Kensington and Battersea and Putney.
So yeah, this might be a turning point for Netflix, but I don't believe they're under as much threat as people are putting it, because the alternatives overall don't match up to Netflix. I think and this is a lesson they've been learning as they've gone along, especially if you look at Disney Plus, which when it first started had very little product out there. And outside of its Marvel and Star Wars stuff, there hasn't actually been that many shows that are very watchable. And a lot of the product's really old stuff. And what I don't get about Disney is I know
there's been quite a few shows that have been watchable.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how many times are you watching a new show on Netflix? Outside of Star Wars and
you know what? On Netflix, very rarely now.
Sorry, a new show on Disney Plus.
Quite regularly when they come out.
New shows? Yeah, when they come out, and that's been the problem with them.
Yeah, but they're new.
The last big show they had was The Murderers in the Building.
Yeah, that we watched all those.
Which is a new show.
You watched all the Rebel?
For a while. Red what?
Rebel? You watched
Cancelled.
that? You watched Big Sky? But that's disappeared for some reason. You watched Everybody Hates Chris. No, everyone hates Chris. What's the Wonder Years?
I'm all right with Wonder Years. I haven't finished it yet, though.
You watched it, though, didn't you?
All I'm saying is, like, yeah, a bit of it. All I'm saying is, at the end of the day, I think that the Disney...
Yeah, but that's not their main aspect,
trying to
though,
get more new product out there.
You watched all the Walking Dead?
Well, it should be. They need to focus on that. Not on Disney. I watched Walking Dead.
So you didn't watch the new season, no?
I haven't finished it, no.
But you're watching it?
Weird. No,
but you're watching it, though,
I'm going to wait until it all comes out and binge it.
Well, there you go. So if Disney's not there, you ain't going to binge it, are you?
What do you mean?
Well, it's a Fox channel.
Well, Disney, all I'm saying is Disney Plus's problem is they don't have enough good product. There's a
lot of product. There's a lot.
Not enough.
It's just not Netflix, though. Half it's crap.
You've got a proper bee in your bonnet about Netflix, man.
I've got a proper bee in my bonnet about everything at the moment because it's all rubbish.
No, not everything. Well, you don't have Apple. You've still got Apple. Are you watching anything?
And that's terrible.
Why is it terrible?
Everything that's came out since Ted Lasso has been utter shite.
I see. I thought you enjoyed that.
C was out before Ted Lasso.
But this last season didn't come
before
after
Ted Lasso
that?
season 2.
But
they're the only two good programs.
Yeah, but then I think isn't that the whole thing with streaming services? Though at the end of the day, you come along, you watch what you want, and then you leave. That was the whole point of the model build-up. Netflix's whole point is that you watch
Netflix model build-up was what you want and leave, and then we charge you for the rest of the year. But now they've changed it all.
Well, I think what they need to do is go what Disney's done, and they do have the year-long subscription, which makes it a lot easier as opposed to what Netflix does. So you don't have to. If you watch one show, you don't have to stay. But if they do a year-long subscription, I think things might turn around for them a bit better. But as it stands, once you watch what you want, you're gone. You don't have to come back. You have to roll back up again. There's no reason for you to still be a Netflix member. The only reason I've stayed is because I do find quite a lot to watch on there.
I think you're into that weird shit.
Yeah, documentaries and
foreign TV and bloody cartoons.
They don't knock my foreign TV, bro.
Well, I wouldn't knock it. It's just dub stuff's rubbish.
And anime. But yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Now, sorry, let's get back to our main course here for you.
Yeah, let's just delete Netflix.
No, keep your Netflix. Delete Apple, maybe. And Paramount Plus on Horizon. Woo, there's even more competition coming, especially in the UK market. So, if you
Give that one a
gamers
miss
out
for a
there,
couple of years.
no, I need the Star Trek. I don't care. I'll give up Netflix. Like that.
There you go.
Get
See,
Paramount.
there you go. See, you give it up.
As long as I've got my Star Trek, I'm more Star Trek beats all comers. Even Disney Plus, I'm like, yeah, I'll take the Star Trek. We've got no Star Wars I really need to see apart from Obi-Wan now. Big gaming news as far as I'm concerned, because these are the games I think I remember growing up with the most. The Embrace Group has entered into an agreement to acquire Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, Square Enix Montreal, and a catalogue of IPs including Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, and more than 50 back catalogue games from Square Enix Holdings for a tiny sum of 300 million, I might add. So, you know, all those games that you remember, Legacy of Kain was one of my favorite games from back in the day. They're no longer going to be part of the whole Square Enix. And that also includes Marvel's Avengers, which was meant to be a AAA project. And I don't think launched that well. I know for a fact I only played it as a demo. And once it came out on, what should I call it, on Game Pass. Did you ever play Marvel's Avengers, Dave? Were you ever taken in by the allure of playing Captain America?
Really play computer games anymore. They're all rubbish, like the movies.
They're not all rubbish.
Right, what's been good? What's been good in the last 10 years
Lego.
game wise? No, they're
Lego
just
was
repeat.
good. 10 years.
But it's like movies and TV. It just repeats itself over and over again. How many CODs are you going to have that's the same thing, just a different weapon or a different jetpack? Or it's the same game, and you're paying £60 a pop.
Not unless you got Game Pass. Which
no, because you're paying £12 a month.
Or £1 if you were clever like me. So yeah, that's probably, I don't know how much of a big change that will make. As Dave has pointed out, all those franchises, including they've got Hitman, Tomb Raider, Deus Ex.
The Hitman,
all those games
I loved Hitman. I had all of them.
All those games will be they're not as big as money makers as they used to be. And I think out of those, the last one I remember getting a big release was actually Hitman. Sorry, not He-Man, but Hitman had a pretty big game recently.
I think that was the last one I brought.
So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it. But yeah, they're no longer at Square Enix. I, for one, am looking forward to what happens with the future. I don't want another bad Thief game, but hey, who knows what can happen?
That game's terrible. So was that Deus Ex.
I know I'm a big fan of Deus Ex. So at least the second one. The third one wasn't. So the last one they brought out wasn't so good. But previous versions of it, I've really, really enjoyed. But that's just a role player in me. Now, apparently, I know in Obi-Wan, they've already hinted that Vader will be appearing in the upcoming show. But apparently, our friend the Emperor will also be popping up at some point in this series, which is released on the 29th of May. Was it? I think they keep saying.
It was 27th.
The Friday. Yeah, no, you're right. 27th of May. This week also is May the 4th, and usually they drop something. I don't know what they will be dropping on May the 4th.
Boba Fett program.
No, I'm thinking it's probably going to be the That's what Boba Fett. I know they're dropping a program for Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
A documentary behind the scenes thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's really.
No, but the whole thing, the Legend of Boba Fett, that's what that's going to be as well.
Oh.
But I'll be intrigued to see if they drop either. I reckon they're going to probably drop Bad Batch season 2, or Andor, another trailer for at least a trailer for Andor. Will probably be dropping there, but like Star Wars, I think it's had a pretty rough couple of years, and the TV shows have been stood up and been quite good. So I'd be interested to see what they do drop, but I don't see them at least not dropping a few trailers because they've got all their shows that they've promised. So Andor, The third season, is it the third season of Mandalorian? And also the Knights of the New Republic, the High Republic, some sort of related animated show there as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this May the 4th. I'm certainly excited about it. Dave, do you get excited about May the 4th? Or am I asking you a silly question?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
We're going to a Star Wars quiz night in the pub.
Yes,
so
we are,
nothing,
Dave.
so.
We're going to the Star Wars pub quiz. Me, you, and the Super Mike.
If he turns up.
He'll be there. He better. He's got the tickets. So that'll be really, really exciting. The pub quiz that we'll be doing on the Wednesday night, Star Wars related. But yeah, May the 4th, I think it's going to be quite a big day because obviously it's also trailers, clips, all sorts were released. And I reckon there'll be at least one announcement about an up-and-coming movie on May the 4th as well, because they haven't made any for a while. And I don't think we've had any news on any films.
Had no news on films, cartoons, or anything.
Yeah, so I reckon there's going to be some big announcements to get people excited again. Because as we've seen with Star Trek, certain sections of fandom, to a degree, those that aren't racist, have been justifiably upset with the standard of Star Wars they've had. And with the with Star Trek, they've started to turn it around. Hopefully Star Wars can start doing that and we can all move on from Jar Jar Binks.
They just released a new cartoon for Star Trek.
Say again?
They just released a new cartoon for Star Trek.
Yeah, because it started turning around for fans. Like the fans, well, they've got two cartoons Star Trek. They've got Lower Decks and Prodigy. But I'll talk about Prodigy later in the show. And
I watched an episode of that.
Just an episode, but you're not
just a episode.
Are you a Trekkie in any way, shape, or form? You've never been into it.
Not really.
It
was the poor man's version, wasn't it, of Star Wars?
Nowadays, yeah. Let me be quite clear to you, yeah. There are very few times that I will jump out of the screen, through the screen, and
where's the truth? It's like Knots Landing in Dallas, you know. There was the good one and there was the bad one.
But let me be very, very clear. Yeah? Star Trek ain't poor man's none, all right? They're two distinct universes. So
Falcon Crest and Dynasty. You know, there's always two for another show.
Yeah, and Star Wars was Falcon's Crest.
Yeah.
Let's see. So now DC apparently is being bought by Discovery Plus, or whatever it is. They're about to become a whole new thing, and they've already started cancelling loads of projects. They've
Discovery Plus.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Discovery Plus or the company. So you got Warner Brothers, Discovery, and it's all coming together under one big house. And apparently they've already cancelled Legends of Tomorrow. That is gone. And
they've cancelled everything, thank God.
No, the Flash is still running along. I just reckon they're going to reboot it. They're going to reboot it. It makes too much money for them. Like,
how can you reboot something when they're releasing movies about it?
Because the movies are the movies. The shows are the shows. And I'm sorry, they've seen what Disney Plus is doing. There's no way they won't go for more TV shows. What they will do is reboot it and do a reboot in the same way that...
yeah, but look at Disney Plus. They're actually releasing characters that no one's heard of. That's what DC needs to do.
Do the same.
Yeah, but that's what they need to do.
Well, yeah, but they need to also up their standard, Dave. At least let's both agree on this, at least, bruv. Yeah.
Have a Wonder Woman program. Why can't they have a Wonder Woman program instead of Batman and Superman all the time?
Because Wonder Woman, nobody really buys into the Wonder Woman thing anymore, do they?
I don't know. Woman in a short dress. People will be watching it.
Do you know what? I just said
Supergirl was a big hit before it first came out.
Warner Brothers. This is the first time. If you can hear me, Warner Brothers, hear me loud, yeah. I've never seen Dave excited about a lot.
I'm not excited. I'm just saying.
Hold on, Dave.
So many characters.
Don't go coy on me.
Why would you not put a Green Lantern program out?
I think there's one coming.
But it's a cartoon, and it's going to be a flop.
No. It's going to be on HBO. They're doing a Green Lantern show on HBO. That's going to be a HBO.
Even an Aquaman program, they could do that.
That's coming. No, that one. They tried to, but people.
But they have to be like the Little Mermaid. They have to film it all on land.
No, they're struggling with Aquaman because Aquaman. Did you watch the end of Peacemaker? Aquaman's just one of those characters that is comic book wise. I think it's not struggled, but it's never gone past like 100 issues.
That's because his seahorse can't come out of the ground, out of sea. He's still a fruity seahorse.
They can track up.
Yeah.
And two, I think it's just I don't know. It's always struggled. I think the only time Aquaman's been popular is when. Do you remember Young Justice?
No.
You never saw Young Justice. It was an animated. It used to be on what was it on for? I think it was on the BBC for a while, and it was just basically all the young superheroes, and it had Aqualad in that, and he was quite popular for a bit because he was a bit badass. Yes.
Was that like Popeye and some?
No, it was more like Popeye's son, that does. But yeah, no, do you know what, Dave? I agree. But I think they need to reboot. So the CW it looks too cheap, and they need to do something that looks like they put some money behind it. And they almost did that with Stargirl, but I don't know what happened between Stargirl season 1 and season 2.
Oh, Stargirl was proper cheap from the get-go.
No, but it seemed a bit better. Like, come on,
no,
I know.
It weren't as good as the Flash.
It. I think it was better than the Flash.
No, not visually. Visually, it was terrible. It was like watching Henry Danger. Yeah, I went there.
God, Dave.
It was more like Power Ranger crap graphics, you know? Is that sort of style?
Power Ranger.
Yeah, do you know when they used to turn into like the giant robot? It was just so bad.
Well, okay, look, I'm not going to argue with you. I still think season 1 was better than season 2. And I found season 1 quite watchable, and I turned every week for it, and I was quite happy with it. But season 2 seemed to just lose its direction completely. And I found it quite difficult to watch on many different levels. But
it's gone now, so it's good.
Well, no, I think they've still got season 3 to come, and then it's gone. Like season 3 is going to be the last season.
I don't think it's going to be like Batgirl. No one's going to give a damn.
Batgirl? No, you're saying
Batwoman.
Yeah, no, Batgirl just finished production on the film, actually, which is going to be on HBO.
Oh, another bat thing. Yay, more bats.
Batgirl, though. Batgirl.
More bats.
Batwoman, unfortunately, was also cancelled. And I have to say, right, season 1 of Batwoman, bad. Season 2 of Batwoman, bad. Season 3 of Batwoman, actually started enjoying it. And I think it's just a bit of a shame it got cancelled, but that's what happens. That show had a rough ride from the start. But I still think if they up the budget, if they get Marvel type budget for these shows, they could do a lot more with them. At the moment,
you reckon they can? though? I don't think they can.
I think they can
because it's just the same stories over and over, and there's no direction.
Dave, you've already said the thing they need to do. Yeah, no more Flash shows.
It's right? Yeah, but how many Bat people do you need?
No more Flash shows. No more Batman stories. You do Wonder Woman.
No more Superman stories. You need people that you haven't used in a long time.
Well, I'd love to see a Martian Manhunter show. Like Martian Manhunter would make a lot of sense as a TV show. And I'm surprised they haven't done him. No more Constantine, although I think there's a Constantine show coming. What other DC characters are there you can choose? You've said Aquaman, so I'm putting in for an Aqualad.
Yeah, but these are just ones I'm just throwing out. It's like, why can't they just do a Lex Luthor show?
Oh, who would you cast as Lex Luthor?
Just someone being someone really bad and horrible.
Yeah, but who'd you cast? Who would make?
There's never no bad guy shows.
That's a bad idea. I'm sure somebody did do a bad guy show, didn't they? Venom. All the boys, I guess, is about as close as you can get. But
I mean, you could do a Penguin show. You know, you could just do something bad.
They are.
Use a bad guy.
Dave, why are you
Use the
working?
Riddler. Use someone, you know.
Dave, why are you working here? They're doing the Penguin show based on
Because
Colin
this is
Farrell.
free and no one wants to pay anything else.
I know. I think they're doing a GDPC show in the Penguin. They're doing, and they're also doing a show based around the Penguin. So you're going to get both two for the price.
Because he was the only good thing in that movie.
Because they dumped so much makeup on Colin Farrell. It's like, why did they cast Colin Farrell? They could have picked there's a guy they could have picked who looks just like Colin Farrell does with the makeup on.
Is that a form of bullying, Curse, you're trying to do?
Oh,
it sounds like you're trying to bully the poor man that looks like the Penguin.
No, he.
Are you fat shaming someone?
No. He don't. He's
Playing
not fat.
from Francois Home.
What's that? Let's find him. That looks like the Penguin in. Let's see if Google. No, not Richard. Who's that?
This is where the whole podcast goes quiet.
All right, now I found.
I need to edit this bit out, yeah. So
no, you can keep
that's a 2-minute break.
His name's Richard Kind. Look him up. Richard Kind. It looks like he could have easily been cast as the Penguin because he looks amazingly like he just looks apart, and I think that's a weird shot that they didn't actually get for him. Look, I just think Colin Farrell's a bit wasted under all that makeup. But even though he does an impressive good job, I know you weren't a fan of the Batman, but the one thing I was a fan of was
I was impressed with Colin Farrell in the Batman. I thought he was brilliant.
But you're not a fan of the film, man.
No, the film was terrible.
Right, okay. Moving on. Did you ever watch that 70s show? Were you ever a fan, ladies and gentlemen, of that show, the 70s show?
Yeah, I love
Dave
Red.
I
love Red. He was my favourite. I could be Red.
Everybody loved a bit of Red.
I could be Red. Moany old.
Wait, wasn't Red the one who ended up? Which one was
no,
Red?
that was on. Red was the dad.
All right, thank God. I thought you were going to say
not the pedo.
When I got sent to prison. No.
Not the pedo.
Yeah.
He's not in the new series.
I personally hated that 70s show, but it did have some. I did watch it sometimes. It did have some great moments. Well, good news for those of you who loved it. It's coming back. It's coming back not as the 70s show, but 2 decades later, it will now be known as that 90s show.
So only 2 people got careers out of that. Eh? I know she was in Orange is the New Black, wasn't she? The ginger girl.
Yeah, I think they all did all right. I think what's his name, like who's the Ashton Kutcher done the best, but Mila Kunis did really well.
Yeah.
Until she went and did that film Jupiter, right?
Yeah, we don't talk about that. Ascending.
And the guy who was their Mexican friend who they took the piss out of.
She done Ted though.
Huh? Yeah.
She done Ted.
And she still did.
And she's as I say, she's massive as Megan Family, guys. So.
Yeah. But the only person that won't be returning is Danny Masterson, who played Hyde, as he's preparing to stand trial on multiple allegations of sexual assault. But everybody else is set to return, including Red, so Dave's favourite Red, which is Kitty Foreman.
The mother, I loved her as well, yeah.
They
were 2 best characters.
Lots of new characters will be coming along as well. And obviously,
what about Wilmer Vanderarmer? Is he in it?
Topher Grace did all right, didn't he? He's still acting and stuff. I know he hit a wall when he did Spider-Man 3, but you know,
well, that's what happens. That's what happens when you star in Spider-Man 3.
I know.
Tobey Maguire wasn't seen for a long time.
I think you underestimate what Topher's been in. Let's just take a quick look at it, because I think he's done a lot of stuff. So after that 90s show, that 70s show, he did Spider-Man 3. He also did the voice of Venom in the video game.
Big job, that one.
He was in Predators. I didn't know he was in Predators. What was he in? Was he one of the really bad guys? Oh, yeah, I know who he was now. See, I don't recognise him, people on more. The other big things he's done. Ooh, actually, Dave, you were right. So,
Even Predators wasn't a big hit. Let's
do you
face
know when
it.
when you look at a list of films and it's like, oh, okay.
His agent just stopped taking calls, didn't he? He's like,
No. It wasn't that. It was just that he's literally done. The biggest thing that I now remember in him, and I didn't recognize it was him, was in Black Klansman. He was David Duke, and Black Klansman is such a good movie that I was like, I didn't even recognize it was him in it, but he was David Duke, who was the leader of the KKK, and he's really good in the film. And I think that's about it. There's nothing. Twilight Zone, Home Economics, TV show, character called Tom, Black Mirror. Yeah, he's had a God, Spider-Man 3 really damaged his career, didn't it? So moving on.
I know, pretty damaged everyone's career.
That 70s show will be making a return as that 90s show. I never particularly like the show, but I think I'll try and see if I can get into it. There's a few shows that I can't get into that other people seem to love, like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Always Sunny. And have you ever watched It's Always Sunny? I've tried.
You know what? I watched the first 6.5 seasons, and I got bored of it.
Okay.
But then that's another thing, because it came out on Netflix. You just binge watched it, and then you just got bored.
Okay. I never got into it.
I only watched it for Danny DeVito.
I think
at the beginning, and then
Wednesday sees the return of Star Trek with its second long-term TV series. The first episode is dropping on Paramount Plus. I don't know when we're getting it in the UK. I'm assuming it might come out on Amazon because they did a deal where Picard was on there. And then once Paramount Plus launches, I assume it will move over to Paramount Plus. But Strange New Worlds is the classic Enterprise returning with the pre-Kirk crew. And in fact, it will have the original Captain Enterprise, Captain April, handed over to the Anson Mount, who is Captain Pike, as they start their 5-year mission, their first 5-year mission around the galaxy to find new life. It looks, again, like Discovery did, it looks absolutely fantastic. Like they've updated the special effects, which is almost my biggest worry, because the Next Generation dated very quickly. And even the films, I don't know if Dave, you watch any of the films, but the films looked so dated very quickly that I was like, I'm not buying into this. And the new shows look spectacular. And this show in particular looks like it could be something special. No, I mean, new show in particular looks like it'd be something special. It's a pre-Kirk era. It looks amazing. I've got no idea what the script's going to be like, or the plotting is going to be like, but this looks like it could be something that's quite exciting, and certainly a lot more exciting than the last time we were on the Enterprise, which was with what's his name, John Baluka, with that Enterprise show that ran in the late 90s. So yeah, that's happening this week.
What was that one? Is that the one with the guy from Quantum Leap?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was pretty dire shit. Yeah, it wasn't great. And the intro theme, I got faith in my heart. I was just like, why are you doing this to me? What is it? I got faith to believe. But yeah, yeah. Anyway, but that looks fantastic. So for all you Trek fans out there, this is going to be a good week for you. Now, Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible, like Fast and Furious, is a franchise that will not stop. I think I've gone to cinema to watch every single Mission Impossible film. No matter what you may think of Tom Cruise, and no matter what you may think of Mission Impossible, they are great action entertainment films. And so far, I've never been completely disappointed with a Mission Impossible, except for Mission Impossible 2, which was
my favourite.
Only because it's got motorbikes in it. A lot of them.
That was the big chase scene with the Audi
Yeah,
TT
yeah,
and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
It's
yeah. I
good.
remember.
I
And
like
then
that one.
jumping up with the guns. I was not a fan
Yeah.
of that film, but even that one did well. My favorite Mission Impossible is actually Mission Impossible 3, which I think had one of the best villains of the entire franchise. But Mission Impossible
What
7 is
was the one
coming out
Val Kilmer
soon.
was in? Was that the first one?
Yeah.
I like that one. That was my. I think that was probably my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, because it showed you how they
Um,
like took each other's faces like face off and stuff like that.
Well, the new one is coming out soon, and the title's been dropped. Tom Cruise is going to have a very busy year this year, I think, because he's got Top Gun, I believe, coming out later this year, and then Mission Impossible, I think, should be out this year as well.
I think Top Gun's
year.
coming out very soon, actually.
Yeah,
it was meant to be July, but I think it's coming out before.
So the new title for the new film is Mission Impossible, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1. So this looks like it's going to be a double run. I do hope it's
coming up May the 27th.
Top Gun. So it's going to be a very busy year for Tom Cruise. I think Mission Impossible again will be another big hit for him. I think people want films like this.
But they filmed number 8 back to back with 7.
Yeah, I think people want movies like this. And like I said, no matter what you think of Tom Cruise, they've been really quite good and fun films to watch. The only character that's made it through all the films has been Tom Cruise. And
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it's only been Tom. There's been no one else that's made it through all 7 films. But I do think that the second one's what's the name?
When did Ving Rhames been in everyone as well?
Huh?
Ving Rhames, has he been in all of them? I know he was in the second one onwards.
No, he comes in. Right, okay, hold on. Let's look this up. Mission Impossible.
Because Simon Pegg came in number 3, didn't
film he? Actors in all the films. Yeah, Simon Pegg came in the third one.
I think Ving Rhames come in the second one. He might even come in the first one.
Ving Rhames, I think, is in the first one because he gets called in as a backup member because the first team gets whacked. Spoilers in the first 10 minutes of the film, and I think Ving Rhames is called in as backup support. So I think it might be Tom Cruise and Ving Rhames are the only ones who've been in all the films. I'm just going to check Ving now. Can we get some? When did Mission Impossible the first one come out? Is it right? Here we do you know when the first one came out, Dave?
1997.
Not the TV show. No, he is. So yeah, Ving Rhames and Tom Cruise. They're literally. Has Ving Rhames been in every single one though?
See, told you.
He was in the first one.
I'm good, eh?
Sometimes, Dave, you're excellent, especially when you smile, baby. And no, he's done all right. So yeah, he's going to be in the next 2 Mission Impossibles. So good on him.
So the first one came out in 1996. See, I was good.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I hope. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably go to cinema for it because I know at the very least it's going to be mildly entertaining. So moving on from that news, we've already talked about which streaming service you can cut, so we'll bypass that one. In other news, Doctor Strange has been banned in China already.
And Saudi Arabia.
And Saudi Arabia, 1, because it's got a gay character in it. And 2, I think it's probably that, because the Chinese don't like...
Well, no, they wouldn't edit a word or something stupid like that.
No, it's because, again, they don't like gay characters. But
yeah, but it was the word. It wasn't like a big thing mincing around going, "Who I'm here."
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I think with China, it was because there's a newspaper called the Epoch Times, which is very anti-Chinese, and that's why it's. But I think they ban big American blockbusters a lot anyway these days.
Well, they're allowed so many a year into China, aren't they? So
yeah, and also I think the Chinese currently hold the record for the biggest release in China, so they don't want any American films coming along. And
well, Shang-Chi wasn't released in China either, was it?
No, but that was because I think the actor said something about China. But clearly these films don't need it. I mean, like Spider-Man wasn't released in China. and that's made more than $1 billion. It clearly doesn't need it as long as they've got a decent enough marketing team and people are willing to give the film a go.
I just need people
But
like you
I
that
said,
go
we
on
shall
2 or 3
see.
times to the cinema.
The last time I ever done that was only the last time I went to the cinema more than once was Avengers Endgame. Yeah, that's the only time I've gone to see films more than once. But that was an amazing time, though, man. That was WWE with superheroes. But yeah, what about you? Have you ever gone to see multiple film? Did you ever go to
Independence
cinema
Day,
more
I
than
think I
once?
watched multiple times.
All right, okay.
Flight of the Navigator, I think, as well. Stuff
Mm.
when I was a kid, because they were out and you just went again the week after.
Okay.
Nothing as an adult. I can think of. Oh, Batman, the first one.
All right, the Dark Knight, right? Dark Knight, yeah. But no, Batman Begins.
No, Batman Begins, yeah.
Okay, no, that's quite interesting.
Considering I don't really like Batman, I really like that.
I don't like Batman, but I did like that one. Okay, well, what's that? We'll get on with our reviews now before we wrap up here, our mini reviews, or as I like to call them, the late reviews of things that we've been watching this week. I'll do anime next week, but this week I watched the latest episode of Star Trek Picard, which is its penultimate episode, I believe, which is next week should be its final episode. Again, it's all right. It reminds me too much of a TV series. I don't mind it. It's okay.
Well, it is a TV series.
No, but the old TV show. So it's the episodes, like the difference between a Marvel show and CW in terms of quality. And
okay.
all they seem to have done. No, I want to go far, but they could have done with a much more pressing story. Like we've been waiting 20 years for a Worf story, and this is what we got. And it's not very. I hope Patrick Stewart. I think they've filmed season 3 already, but I just think we didn't need this. I'm not a huge fan of Q as a character. I find him more annoying than most. But I like to think it has introduced a few new characters, which I'd like to see again, and hopefully we will see again. So Alison Pill as Dr. Agnes, and I'm liking Michelle Hurd, who plays Raffi, and Santiago Cabrera have all done quite well in this. But what I also like is the fact that that Jerry Ryan have progressed the story of 7 of 9 a bit. But again, because of the nature of the show, it's not about her, so they haven't done it to a lot of depth. But what also annoys me is that it's exactly the same cast they had in season 1, but they put some people in different roles. So Brett's bringing us back as Adam Sung, who was the one who built Data, or the great-grandfather of the one who built Data, who actually made Khan, who was famous, obviously, as you know, from the original series and the films. And then another actress, Isa Briones, is being brought back in a different role as well. And even the character that got whacked at the start of the season returns halfway through this one. So I'm just like, it just reminds me of the old series in that sense that there was never any real danger in these shows. And that's the problem I have with it, with this episode. It's another series where you can tell there's no real danger because you know how everything turns out. And that to me is a bit of a shame that they went down this route with this show. And it would have been nice if they actually took a bit of risk like they did in the first season, but what do I know? Dave, did you watch Moon Knight?
Yeah.
For me, it was the most fantastic moment of TV, especially in terms of how they handled mental illness. But I can see why a lot of people didn't like it, because again, it sort of turned left, and a hard left.
I'm not being funny, but this program had a great big build up towards it. But where's Moon Knight?
He's coming.
Well, one episode. In the last episode. You know what I mean? You've seen him like 2 or 3 times, but
true, and I do agree with you. They did
this is the whole point of him, not like he's back. I don't know. It's
no. Dave, I'm not going to give you a hard time with this one. I agree with you.
I think this one's going. This is going to be a big flop, and it could be a bad thing for Oscar Isaac.
No, I don't think it will be. I think because of the whole mental health aspect of it, I think it's been a good run for Isaac. And
yeah, but this is another one like that other one that was out before when they were in that mental hospital.
What's that?
The X-Men sort of one. What was it?
That was on Fox. Oh God, it's better than that. I would say.
I can't remember what it was called.
I would say it all depends on what happens in the final episode. I'm hoping they can bring it all back together. I'm hoping they can make the watchers' time worthwhile. And I hope they don't drop the ball, especially in their representation of mental health and DID, which is the
Legion, it was
displaced
called.
Identity Disorder. And I think it's worked quite well. And I like the fact that Moon Knight hasn't been in it a lot. But I do think that's also
it's called Moon Knight.
Audience. I know. But I like the fact that Moon Knight hasn't been in there because it's meant that they've had to work really hard to build this character up. I think the Moon Knight's there. You just haven't all the bits for the Moon Knight, right? That are missing. I think you're going to see in the last episode because I think there's another personality which you haven't
Steve's
seen.
dead and someone else is going to come alive now.
No. I think there's been a third personality that a lot of people haven't noticed. That's been in all the missing bits that we haven't seen. So there's a scene. You remember the first scene when he's on the.
Oh, you're gonna have Mark, Steve, and Bob, yeah?
No, I think the other character is called Lockley. I can't remember his name.
But so close to Loki, yeah.
No, there's. There's in a comic book. There's at least 4 or 5 different characters, but there was a moment in the. Do you remember when he's on the cliffside in the ice cream van?
Yeah.
That moment, I think, is when there was a third character that jumped in because Mark Spector didn't know what had happened, and neither did the other personality. And I think that's a moment. All those times when it happens, is there's a third personality, and that's what you're going to see happening next. That there's a third personality that will come into it, and they'll wrap it all up with that. And hopefully they'll give themselves enough time to do it. Why they won't stick the landing. But no, I think it's performance-wise, I think Isaac has been absolutely amazing. And I think his scenes have been fantastic. His English accent, hey, how are you? You all right? Questionable, right?
He's gone now, so you ain't going to hear Steve again. He's now part of the Sounds of Time.
No, but I think they'll be back. I think it's all going to come back. I think the way they handled trauma in this episode has been amazing, and I really, I've been I've had a lot of discussions with people, especially men and sometimes women, about trauma, and I think they deal with it really, really well in this episode. I just wish that they maybe done 8 episodes and had a bit more Moon Knight, but a bit more of going depth into what trauma can actually do to people. But I'm going to say here and now, I'm a big fan of the show, and it's just been getting better and better for me. But then I like a bit of mystery in me shows. But yeah, I can understand why other people don't like it, and I'm not going to give. Like I said, I won't give Dave a hard time. I'm not going to give anybody a hard time who doesn't like it. I can understand why.
This is just another Loki thing where if you haven't read the comic books, your head is all over the place.
No, I think it depends what happens in the last episode. If they deal with everything in the last episode, then and stick to the land.
Oh, what? And that makes the other 5 hours of your life like going, oh yeah, this last episode was good.
No more than other shows like Lost or whatever, where you don't know the mystery. That you've got a big mystery, and
we had 4 seasons of that rubbish, or 5 seasons.
And if they can do it in one season, I'm more than happy with that. But we'll see how it goes. Now, Dave, I'm thinking this is going to be my favorite review. Candyman.
Shit.
What happened?
There you go. That's what happened. Nothing.
Dave,
you didn't see anything happen. That's the trouble. You didn't see anything happen.
What happened with Candyman?
I don't even want to talk about it.
I know, but
I just want to give it a big, fat, lonely 1.
Yeah, for our listeners, what was the thing that finally put it to bed for you?
The lack of everything.
Yeah.
You know, it was all about this artist who actually got stung by a bee when he was like learning the story of the Candyman.
Yeah.
And slowly but steady, he was turning into Candyman.
Okay. Spoilers, sorry.
But it wasn't. It was like the beginning of the program. It's like, what you've been stung by the bee. Why have you not gone to the doctors?
Mm.
Even my mum was sitting next to me. She's going, "Why wouldn't she not go to the doctors?" Just getting infected and more infected every day.
Mm.
And then the people he knew, because he was an artist and he's done an exhibit about the story of the Candyman.
Yeah.
People started saying Candyman 5 times into a mirror and then getting attacked.
Yeah.
But the death scenes were terrible. Then, like the original was a B movie.
Yeah.
And it was gory.
Mm.
This is meant to be a horror, and like every horror you watch now, there's no gore.
Mm.
Like you'll see a body being dragged away, or it's like, I want to see their throat getting slit and stuff. That's the whole point of this horror stuff. Not just them on the floor with the slice mark. You want to see him with his hook go. Whoosh.
Oh, you said there's no splurting.
No, it's all.
Oh wow! All right, well I will check it out. I'm not a big fan of horror, so
It's not really a horror. I would say if you've watched the original, it's a lot gorier than this.
Yeah,
you know, it's very hipster-esque. It's boring.
That's fair enough. All right,
so boring.
Moving on, as you do. I'm going to save the best last. I'm just going to bring up. If you haven't seen this show, ladies and gentlemen, watch this show. It's only available on Sky at the moment, but hit it up. Barry. I spoke about it last week, but Barry, like he said, I've never wanted to watch a show with a title so boring in my life. But Barry, watch it. Barry is superb.
I've watched both seasons.
Yeah, I haven't finished them yet.
In a week.
No spoilers. Barry is the best. I don't know why I didn't.
He's a calamity.
Before, but there's two shows that I'm watching at the moment that I love. One of them's called Better Things, which is currently running on BBC iPlayer and also on Disney Plus, so you can watch it on either. But Barry is gold. All right, Barry is the type of show that come out of nowhere, and I put it in the same league as like Breaking Bad or whatever. It's
no, I wouldn't put it in the same league as Breaking Bad.
Why?
Because it's literally a little half-hour comedy show without no comedy. It's like stupid. It's like it's stupid comedy, really, because you don't realise the comedy value of it is there.
Yeah, but I think it's that twisted sort of humour that it's got. That it's like,
it's the twisted humour of the bald Russian guy. He's the one that makes me laugh.
How are you doing today, guys? How are you? Okay. You know, yes, I'm having a good day. How are you?
And it's the way Barry's meant to be this king of the assassins, but he's absolutely terrible at doing it.
No, because he's basic. He's the type, he's sort of militarily trained. So he's very basic. He's got no exciting tricks.
Yeah, but he doesn't sneak in or nothing.
No, he's got no exciting tricks. He's got no like power moves. And he's not really a martial artist that much.
Just an out-and-out killer.
If somebody goes, I want this guy dead, he goes in and just shoots him. There's no pandering or gorgeous moments like in Leon. But I love it. And he's not a paedophile. So watch Barry.
Barry's good. Season 3 just started.
Yeah, just watch it. It's on Now TV or Sky. Just get either of them and you'll be in heaven. Now, my final review, Moonfall. Now, Dave just watched Candyman and said, Candyman, boring. Candyman, shit. What Dave doesn't know is there's a film out there called Moonfall that I watched. And Moonfall it hurt my feelings again. Like, some films really hurt my feelings. This film actually just punched me in the gut and went, I hate you. It's by Roland Emmerich, and it's another. Now you'll know Roland. You'll know him because he has made probably like.
Go cinema to watch this.
Hmm?
Did you go cinema to watch this?
It's dropped on Amazon Prime. I would never have gone to cinema.
What, for free?
No, it's I think it's $4.99 I paid.
It's got a big cast.
Moonfall.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Who when you look at it, who are you thinking big?
Halle Berry.
Yeah.
Patrick Wilson.
Big.
And the guy that played Sam in Game of Thrones.
No, that's not. Is that him? Yes,
Yeah.
it is him. Right. So Roland Emmerich. Let me run down Roland Emmerich's and tell me if you didn't see Moonfall coming. Right. So before Moonfall, he did. Actually, let me start from the beginning. Not the beginning. Right. Movies. Right. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Go. Right. He wrote Stargate. Okay. He then wrote Independence Day. He then wrote Godzilla, the film in 1998. Do you remember Godzilla? He wrote the
Or the
screenplay for
Jamiroquai
that.
soundtrack.
Yeah. Then he
Yeah.
did The Day After Tomorrow. He wrote the screenplay for that. Then he wrote SG-1, the Stargate TV show. He wrote quite a few episodes for that. Then he wrote 10,000 BC. Then he wrote Stargate Atlantis. Then he wrote 2010. Then he wrote Stargate Universe.
What was 2010?
2012. You remember 2012, don't you?
The one with Jake Gyllenhaal. Is that him?
No, it's the one with let me see, what's his name again?
Oh no, that was The End of Tomorrow or something like that.
John Cusack.
Yeah.
John
Oh
Cusack,
yeah, I remember it now.
right? Yep.
Yeah.
And then he wrote a TV show which was called Dark Horse. I don't know what that's about. But then he wrote the screenplay for Independence Day. And then we arrive at Moonfall. Okay, so he's a writer, producer, director. He, as far as I'm concerned, has sort of produced some of the worst entertainment products out there, but has also put out some of the most entertaining products out there. I, for one, think Moonfall falls into the it's so bad, it's bad. There's nothing good about this film. I watched it throughout, I watched the whole thing through the end. It makes no sense. It's based on a very, very loose idea about the idea of megastructures.
That's just another disaster movie.
Yeah, but a bad disaster movie because it leaves out a lot of disaster. The trailer makes it look like you'll see a lot of stuff, and you don't actually see a lot of stuff going on, especially considering that this thing is affecting the gravity.
You don't see all the tsunamis and stuff like that.
No. You see one instance of a tsunami, and outside of that, I don't think you see much else.
It's about the moon being off orbit or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah. So one day, basically the character John Bradley, who plays Casey Houseman, realizes the moon's off its orbit. Then NASA realizes so. Casey Houseman, who's John Bradley, who's Sam, realizes that it's due to the fact there's something in the moon making it move. And Patrick Wilson plays a washed-up astronaut, and Halle Berry plays a not washed-up successful divorcee. I'm going to say two things. One that stood out for me, I think Roland Emmerich has a problem with divorced people, particularly divorced women. All his heroes are washed up dudes. Like even in 2012, all of them, they're like slightly washed up, apart from Independence Day. And I really think that this film, the only bit I liked is the last 5 minutes when somebody died, and that was it. And outside of that, it's terrible. It's just terrible. It's not even that it's mildly terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's not worth it. The only way I'd suggest you watch this film is if it's a Sunday afternoon and Songs of Praise, a repeat is on the other channels, on all the channels. Then I would suggest you watch it. Outside of that, Halle Berry's great. I love Halle Berry. And the cast try to do their best. But when you have to say things like, if we set off the bomb, it'll kill it and the moon will go back into its normal orbit, it should be fine. When you have to say things like, we've been a part of an intergalactic war that we never knew about, and if we do this, it'll be fine. And it's just like, it's bad, and I just feel sorry. Like, he hates divorcees. I don't know what his problem is with divorcees. Every single film is a divorced dad. I don't think there's been any film that he's made that hasn't been a divorced dad in there. So I don't know what trauma he went through when he was a kid, but he needs to stop with these disaster movies. And another thing I noticed, Dave, and I don't know if you noticed, did you watch 2012? Dave, you there?
Can't remember.
Right. Another thing he always does is
What was 2012? Let me have a look and see what 2012 is. Go on, you carry on. You have your rant.
Another thing that he always seems to do, and when I say he hates divorces, the dad's always hard done by, right? But the mothers they don't seem to care enough. And they're always arguing with the ex-husband. And the guy they marry is always a bit of a douche. And they always end up whacking them. And I think this is the second or third time I've seen the film where the new partner gets whacked at some point. I don't
think I have watched that.
You probably have. I think everybody's seen it, I'm sure.
No, I'm looking at the cast. I haven't seen it.
You've got to watch it. It's just, again, it's not that his premises are impossible. They're just too ridiculous. And the way they respond to them is always incredibly ridiculous. So if I was going to rate this film, I'm going to give it a solid 1. Just for the pure balls of making a film like this and claiming, and then criticizing Marvel for originality, which Roland Emmerich did do. I believe he said Marvel.
All of his films are the same.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the films he has done, and they are virtually the same. Apart from Eight-Legged Freaks, where he was executive producer.
Which is a good film, but again, divorcees. But no, he said that Marvel and Star Wars are ruining our industry. I was like, no, you are. Do you know what I mean? If anybody's done more damage to the cinema industry, it was you.
Mr. Disaster.
Not Marvel. Yeah, it's like your films are literally all the same. But anyway, I don't want to drill on for too long. And that's it. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, over the next couple of weeks, we're doing our pub quiz on Wednesday. We'll be at Comic-Con on the 20... What day are we? We'll be down at Comic-Con on the... Is it 27th of May? 28th of May. For Comic-Con up at the XL. Feel free to join us when we're down there. I think we'll be doing some sort of... I don't think we'll be doing any live podcasts, but we'll definitely be carrying out some interviews and taking some photographs when we're down there. Please do join us on my second outing to XL. Was it my third? My third outing to XL. And we'll see if the big crowds returned. Everybody's excited about the comic book movie geek universes as they usually are. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me and Dave to say goodbye.
Have some dinner.
Time for me and Dave. Please don't watch Moonfall. Whatever you do, go and watch anything else. Like, don't do it to yourself. Don't watch it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the latest edition of The Boys from Bossk. That's a big bounty good night from me.
Boys from me as well.
I'm going to get you to do a big goodbye at some point as we go out. Because the audience want it. I want a deep, big, hey, it's Big Dave, goodbye from you at some point in the next couple of years. Just once. Bye. And because I know he's a lot more excited than he pretends.
Ramesh made a whole career being boring like me.
He's not boring,
and
ladies and gentlemen. This is the man who knows his way around a bike. He's not boring. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, have a nice night. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.